Hey, what is up, guys? Nick2025 here, back with another Epic Gamer video and another discussion that I thought of not too long ago. So my last Fortnite video was probably around October. Well, I mean, I did release my intro and outro, but also disclaimer: I am a little sick, and I also did just come back from like Fortnite in like 3 days, I believe. I haven't played Fortnite in like 3 days, so if I was rusty or bad in this video, there's your answer. But today's discussion, I guess, is what if the drum gun was never unvaulted? Now, I thought of this, and I'm sure many people thought of this, like for a long time, but I thought I would make a video discussing it and the pros and cons of what happens if the drum gun wasn't unvaulted and all that. So I hope you will enjoy my little discussion and enjoy the video just in general. Now, you guys also seem to like my last discussion video, so if this one gets a lot of views, thank you. I really enjoy your I guess company with my 38 subscribers. Anyway, so what if the drum gun wasn't unvaulted? The big question. Now, when back in season 8, I did watch the event and I was there. I did vote for the drum gun. I kind of wanted the TAC SMG, but at the same time, I knew it was really overpowered, just like the drum gun, which a lot of people were complaining at first. Like, hear me out on this, okay? People were complaining a whole crap ton about how the drum gun shouldn't have been unvaulted. It was so overpowered. It's so overpowered. Oh my god. I'm gonna delete this game now. It sucks. Well, if you think about it, it later on was vaulted, and I'm pretty sure at the beginning of Season 9, I believe, or mid-Season 9, so it wasn't that long before it was nerfed, like everybody wanted it to. And eventually the TAC SMG came into the game. But let's say, let's look at our options besides the drum gun. We had the TAC SMG, the grappler, the bouncer, the sword, and the planes. Alright. Now, let's look at the TAC SMG. Alright. The TAC SMG is a really good and overpowered, I must say, just as good as the drum gun, if not better. Okay. Like, think about that. It does a lot of damage, and it does I think a little more damage than TAC SMG, and it comes in purple. Now, in Season X, or 10, if you didn't know, they added the golden TAC SMG, which made it way too overpowered. And it was really hard to get. You can only get it in a specific area on the map, which I guess was balanced, but if it was kind of easy to find in a way if you were at Starry Suburbs, which is where it was located. But think about this. If the TAC SMG was unvaulted, we probably would have got the golden TAC SMG sooner, and not Season 10. But, everybody voted for the drum gun, so what happened? That's literally the discussion of this video. But the TAC SMG, it is really, really good, and I'm sure a lot of people complain if you're playing with your buddies in creative, 1v1ing, and they normally would choose, you could choose like the drum gun or the SMGs or something like that, but anything but the TAC SMG. I'm sure you heard people say that, because TAC SMG is way too overpowered. Now, sure, the compact is just as good. Same with the new SMG, which is basically just a compact with a faster fire rate and faster reload time. Yeah, I understand that's overpowered too, but the TAC SMG is just a little too broken. But anyway, so like, people would probably say, yay, we got the TAC SMG, and realize like a week later, before the season ends, that this was a bad idea. I kind of wish I voted for like the drum gun or something. And that's true. People would have voted for the drum gun, or people voted for the drum gun instead of the TAC SMG. But I guess, and a lot of people wanted the TAC SMG just because of the nostalgia feeling. But later on in Season 10, we did get it. So there you go. We were happy. I'd say that maybe they should have nerfed it, if they knew that the drum gun would come back. But like, Fortnite didn't do that. There's a lot of ideas in the community that have been floating around at that time, and they didn't do it, which kind of sucks. Anyway, now that the TAC SMG is out of the way, what about the bouncers? Yeah, we all love bouncers. We miss bouncers, which also made a return in Season 10, but then got vaulted at the end of the season again. It sucks. It really does suck. But only a very few people were voting for the bouncers. And, like the Fortnite community, they were complaining at the time, saying, why don't we have the tackers, well, not the tackers, why don't we have the bouncers back in the game, bro? Like, we don't have impulses, we don't have shockwaves, why don't we just have something like that? Well, I completely agree. I would have totally wanted the bouncers myself, because bouncers were really good to get off of, height. They were really good for, like, really, cool shotgun plays and all that, right? It was really overpowered. Well, not really overpowered, but it was really useful and good. And it actually has transportation, unlike Chapter 2. But, it was kind of vaulted in Season 6, because I think shockwaves were vaulted in Season 6 too? Or impulses. I think it was impulses. But bouncers were vaulted in Season 6, and we'd always expected to make a return. And unfortunately, Season 8 was not it. But a lot of people use bouncers in like death runs or mini games or something like that. And we would just love to see a return to bouncers. And hopefully, we'll get a return to bouncers soon in like Chapter 2. But since we don't have launch pads or any good transportation besides a boat. I don't expect to see that happening anytime soon. Alright, next, let's look at the grappler. One of the best items that we got added to not Chapter 2, but Chapter 1. It was added it was added back in Season 5 with the Getaway LTM, which was like probably one of the best LTMs we've ever had in a long time. Now, with that being said, of course it wouldn't stay in the game forever, but it was really good. It used to have 15, then they adjusted it to 10, I think around Season 7, which was pretty balanced, I guess. But in transportation-wise, a lot of people enjoyed it, and it was sad to see that a lot of people didn't want to vote for it, because we kind of needed something to get around the map quicker, and it was always fun to have it. It was in Team Rumble when it got, vaulted, though, which, if you think about it on the plus side, was pretty good. And we got a variant of the, but, I can't speak. Ha! But anyway, in Season 8, when it wasn't voted for, we maybe expected to see a return sometime soon in the near future. Which it kind of did. Like I said, Team Rumble had it in there. But it also was kind of back, but doubled up. Let's see, or let's say the Ballers. Remember the Ballers with the grappler? They had insane ranges. And then we also got the Batman grapple gun, which was really, really good, and was just like the grappler, except 10 times better. But it was kind of sad to, see that. But if it was in the game, I'm sure a lot of people would enjoy it, especially in Chapter 2. Now, let's move on to probably the worst item that, shouldn't have been voted, but this is here why we're talking about it if it was voted. Sword. The sword. So the sword. Yeah, the amount of times I've said sword in the sentence is kind of weird. But anyway, the sword. Everybody, I don't know if I should do this one. But the sword was an interesting idea. We saw it at the beginning of Season 7 in the trailer. We expected it to be like an item to be coming soon, which it did to Polar Peak. And a lot of people enjoyed it, and a lot of people hated it. There was very few who voted for it while during the event. But if it was in the game, like now, I'm sure people could counter it, especially with all the sweats and building that we have to counter it. And they did nerf it like a season or two later when the game mode returned. They kind of nerfed it so where you can't build or use mats. On Epic's part, that was kind of a bad idea to get the mats and all that. But it was kind of useful to get around quicker, even though you literally had the quickest way with the sword. But if the sword was in the game, I wouldn't mind, especially since I can counter it now, because I've countered it so many times in like creative, blah blah blah. But I really I would have voted for the sword myself, but I voted for the drum gun because I'm a baby. Anyway, but the sword, yeah, we don't like the sword, but I'm sure if it was in the game, a lot of people wouldn't mind, but a lot of people would mind, which it's not the best idea ever. Yeah, and I guess that leaves us to our last item already, which would be planes. Now, there's a lot of good key aspects, and with planes, but there's also a lot of bad ones, and I'm sure Fortnite could adjust them, just like with the sword and all the other items. So the plane. Basically, one of the best transportation vehicles I think we've ever had in Fortnite. It was an interesting concept to see, and it was really fun to ride around them at the beginning of the season, but then people started realizing that it's way too overpowered, flies through builds, the damage on the, shooting is a lot. But if it was added into the game, especially Chapter 2, that would be the best transportation we've ever had, and it would be a lot of funny memes to see them come back. But unfortunately, it probably won't. But let's talk about the gunner. I feel like they could balance that, make it like 35 damage. There is a recharge, which I guess was pretty balanced at the time, but I can't remember the damage it originally did. But if they removed it and put it to 35 or something, I mean, maybe it already is 35, but dumb it down to like 35, just like with the boats, because, back in Season X, Epic knew that the mechs were overpowered, so I guess they nerfed the rockets for the boat, which made a lot of sense. But, yeah, so if the planes were back, I guess I wouldn't mind, because it would be so fun to ride around and all that. But, at the same time, nobody really wants the planes. But the planes would be a good transportation. The damage could be nerfed, and I guess it would be just better. Even if it was nerfed, it'd probably be the best thing we've ever had in a while. Of course, in Chapter 2's standpoint, like if the ATK was added or some sort of new vehicle, it would take the spotlight. I'm sure they could do that, but planes would probably be a good idea. Now, I guess we've reached the end of all the items that were unvaulted, or that should maybe have been unvaulted, or what would happen if that did happen. You get the point. We are at the end. Now, there is some other discussions I would like to talk about in the near future, but right now I just thought, what if the Drumgun wasn't unvaulted? Which I'm kind of glad it was, but a lot of people aren't glad it was. But let's take a quick summary. So, the Drumgun, it got unvaulted, right? Overpowered, really overpowered, up to some people. Now, TAC SMG, overpowered, again, really overpowered, just to some people. If that was in the game, it'd be pretty fine, but it also wouldn't be at the same time. People would complain about it, just like with the Drumgun, which I thought back in Season 8 was what people would do. Planes, good transportation. Bouncers, good transportation. Grapplers, good transportation. The sword, terrible idea. I'd say every one of those things except for the sword is a good idea, especially since they did, nerf the Drumgun back then. I think it was like Season 9, of course. I can't remember. But all those items seem like it would be pretty good, and a pretty good addition to Chapter 2. Planes, most definitely. Bouncers, they'll probably introduce it later on, maybe with some new aspects to it, like they did with original Fortnite, because Bouncers used to be in the game, and then they updated it and changed it. So, thank God. But without further ado, I guess that's the end of the video. I hope you liked this mini discussion, and if you want me to do more discussions, like I said, with the mechs and all that, then yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, I guess, and I will talk to you all later. See you in my next video. And also, I'll see you on Twitch, because it's almost 2020, people. It's almost time for me to return to Twitch. Twitch.tv/Nick__2025. And I'll see you on the 24th, which is also my birthday, which I'll be 15. Also, quick news, I got a girlfriend now, so who knows what I'll do. Alright, anyway, without further ado, I'm making this, thing too long. I guess I'll talk to you all later, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little discussion. Pretty quick, pretty solid, who knows. But thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.